Hello everyone, welcome back to my Shava Cuisine with Miss Naomi Mbungu. In today's video, we will be making grilled chicken, mikate also known as puff puff, and something very different, a lice salad, also what I like to call a red onion and tomato salsa. Onto our grilled chicken. For our spices, we will be needing 1 teaspoon of paprika, 2 teaspoons of all-purpose seasoning, 1.5 teaspoons of peri seasoning, 2 tablespoons of jumbo all-purpose seasoning, 4 crushed Maggi cubes, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 garlic cloves, 1 spring onion, and 3 tablespoons of chopped canned tomato. I've washed my chicken. And what I tend to do when I make chicken, especially drumsticks or chicken thighs, I score it with a knife. This makes it easier for the flavour to go through the flesh of the chicken whilst marinating. After scoring my chicken, I'm going to grate my 2 garlic cloves and mix it well into the chicken. Now after grating in my garlic cloves, I'm going to grate also the nutmeg. I'm going to then add in all of my spices and mix well together. After mixing all of my spices together, I'm going to add in my chopped tomatoes to the chicken and also mix as well. After mixing well all the spices with the chicken, I'm going to then add the lemon juice. Once I finish the marinating process, I'm going to cover my chicken with tin foil in the bowl and place it in the fridge so it to continue marinating. You can marinate this to 2 to 4 hours during the day or also overnight. To cook my grilled chicken, I will use a Von Chef halogen oven. This is really great to make chicken, and I use this to make my grilled fish, chicken. It's more or less like a multi-purpose oven. I'm going to place a link down below on where I purchased it if you're really interested to buy this. I know in France they call this, I believe, a fourchette, and that's where I discovered it at my aunt's house and I fell in love. And I really love this, and I purchased one, and I also purchased this for a few friends as well, and they really do love it. So what I would suggest is please invest in one, and I'm sure you will not regret it. Once I've placed my marinated chicken inside the Von Chef or the fourchette or halogen oven, I'm going to cover it and I'm going to allow it to cook for 20 to 40 minutes, also paying attention to the cooking time as well, and cook it until golden, but bearing in mind, please always double check it to turn it over so it can be cooked on both sides. For our mikate recipe or puff puff, we will be needing 4.5 cups of self-raising flour, 2.5 cups of white sugar, 4 sachets of vanilla sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 sachet of yeast, and also vegetable oil. To make my batter or dough, I'm going to add in my flour, my self-raising flour, into a bowl. After adding in my flour, I'm then going to add in my 4 sachets of vanilla sugar. I am then going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. After adding in the salt, I'm then going to add 2.5 cups of white sugar to the flour mixture. After adding in my sugar in a bowl, I'm going to add in the yeast, followed by 1 cup of warm water, and I'm going to mix that well. I will be using the warm water and the yeast to blend in with my dry ingredients. Now I'm going to add in my wet ingredients into my dry ingredients and mix well. Now this is going to be a very repetitive process. You're going to be required to beat your batter until it has a smooth consistency, and of course gradually pouring in that our wet ingredients as well, and mix well. Now in this section, whilst you are beating in your batter, if you feel as if you've added too much water all at once, make sure you have some flour handy and add in the self-raising flour as well, and also try and balance it out with the level of sugar, so you make sure that it has the exact same flavor that you need. That it's not too sugary and it's not too bland as well. I would suggest that you use self-raising flour. Self-raising flour is the best for you to make your puff right. I wouldn't suggest you to use plain flour, okay? The reason why I wouldn't suggest for you to make plain flour, it will come out great, the puff will look nice, but after a couple of minutes it will go really hard. However, self-raising flour is the best for it to keep having that spongy feeling like a cake. Once you have achieved this level of consistency for your batter, then you would add 1.5 teaspoons of your vanilla extract and continue to blend well for an extra 5 minutes or so. Once I have finished mixing the dough batter or the mikate, I'm going to allow this dough to set for 1 to 2 hours in a dry, cool place for the dough to rise as well. Once our dough has risen, it is now ready to make the mikate. In a deep skillet, add 3 to 4 cups of oil and allow this to heat for a good 5 to 7 minutes. Now that our skillet is hot, in a bowl of warm water, I'm going to place my fingers in there, and once that's wet, it's going to be easier for me to make my mikate round. And this is the technique: just grab it with your fingers and do like a zigzag and have it in your fingers, and it'll be easier for you to just place it in the hot oil. As long as it's round within your fingers, it'll be easier for you to put it in. Once I've done that, I'm gonna place it in gently, my dough mixture. I'm going to allow this to cook for 5 to 7 minutes on each side, and I'm also going to aim it to be a nice golden color. We don't want it to burn as well. And place this to a high heat at first, then gradually place your heat down to a medium heat because you don't want it to burn as well. And please pay close attention with the puff. To make our red onion and tomato salsa, we will need 1 red onion, 2 tomatoes, 2 tablespoons of Maggi liquid, 1 teaspoon of pepper and 1 teaspoon of parsley. To make our salsa, slice the red onions thinly. Then cut both tomatoes into cubes. In a small mixing bowl, add in the red onions and the tomatoes together. Mix well the red onions and the tomatoes, followed by adding in the black pepper, After adding the black pepper, add in also your parsley and mix well together. Add in also your lemon juice and mix well. Then pour in 2 tablespoons of Maggi liquid after adding the lemon juice and mix well together. And there we go, we have our red onion and tomato salsa. And here we have it guys, our mikate, half-puffed, grilled chicken, red onion and tomato salsa. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please stay tuned for much more videos to come.